I'm from Indiana, but I'm a Red Sox fan.
And I'm from Minnesota, but I'm a Yankees fan.
And welcome to the Rivalry out of state, our series on the Running the Table podcast, where we run through everything in the world of Major League Baseball. And the stove has been hot as ever. And now we finally have some answers to where the major free agent signings are going to land. So without further ado, we're going to run through those major signings. Andrew, you ready to go?
Let's run it.
Quick, easy to the point. Let's get into it. So the first player that we're going to talk about actually isn't a free agent, but did sign a fat extension. We are going to talk about Matt Olson and his trade into being an Atlanta Brave. Now, he was shipped as part of that big package from Oakland with, 4 prospects. We talked about that in our last video, but some more has happened since then. And since Matt Olson, the Atlanta native, was traded to the Atlanta Braves, they gave him a fat 8-year, $168 million extension. Wow. Now, why is this important? Because at the time of this extension, their first baseman for the last decade or so was still an impending free agent, thus signifying that Freddie Freeman was going to be playing somewhere else in 2022. Before we get into Freddie and where he went, Andrew, what do you got to make of this Matt Olson signing?
Well, I mean, they were trying to figure out what to do with Freddie Freeman, whether to re-sign him, give him a huge extension, and instead they traded for a younger Freddie Freeman. It's the best way to put it. I mean, Matt Olson arguably was one of the best first basemen in the American League. You could argue Jose Abreu, but he was way up there. And yeah, they got a younger Freddie Freeman, and he's a great first baseman. I'd say the Braves are set to go for a repeat next year.
They've definitely added some tools like outside of Matt Olson to, get themselves in a position to repeat. Obviously, picking up Kenley Jansen in free agency, that was huge. That shores up their bullpen. Now they have a legitimate 1-2 punch in the 9th inning. Will Smith or Kenley, pick your poison, among other moves. So the Braves are set. So what happened to Freddie? He's not going to play in Atlanta. Okay, fine. He went and signed with the Los Angeles Dodgers for 6 years, $162 million. A big, big contract for one of the best first basemen in the entire league, bar none. And the impact with this one is the best lineup in Major League Baseball somehow got better. It got better, Andrew.
It got way better.
Now you have Trey Turner, you have Max Muncy, Cody Bellinger, Mookie Betts, Will Smith. You got guys all over the lineup. And now you insert Freddie Freeman, who is a very, very good glove in first base. And now Max Muncy, who has spent a lot of time, injured, hasn't really played in the field that much. He's versatile, can play second base, can play first base, he can play all over. But just for the sake of his health, I think the safe thing that the Dodgers are going to do is DH him, which works. Max Muncy is a fantastic hitter, and by signing Freddie Freeman, they have the flexibility to do that. So the Dodgers are now looking even scarier than they did before.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you with Max Muncy moving to DH. Dodgers got to be thinking they're lucky stars that the NL adopted DH this year. Because how perfect was it for them just to pick up Freddie Freeman like that? The second the Yankees signed Anthony Rizzo, that moment I was like, okay, might as well just put it in the books. Freddie Freeman's a Dodger. And sure enough, within the next day or two, the deal was done. And my God, is he getting paid?
Which in our free agent predictions video, you had said that Freddie Freeman was going to be a Yankee incorrectly. I had said that he was going to be a Dodger. And here he is in Dodger blue in spring training. Now, another move that we're going to talk about is Kris Bryant, where he signed. We thought that he was both going to go to the Seattle Mariners. And oh boy, a swing and a miss, because he signs with all teams, the Colorado Rockies, for 7 years, $182 million. I don't get it. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't get it because of the Nolan Arenado conundrum. Nolan Arenado signed a big extension worth $250 million with the Rockies. Only with Jeff Bryant, the GM, the acting GM at the time, he inserted an opt out like 3 years in. And then when Arenado wasn't going to take the opt out, they shipped Arenado plus $51 million to St. Louis just to get rid of him. And now you're going to sign Kris Bryant to a deal that's just as large and have a no trade clause. I don't get it. The Rockies are incredibly directionless. I guess this adds a superstar, but you just added Kris Bryant to a team that is still going to be floundering in the bottom of the NL West. I don't understand it.
Yeah, this was a head scratcher to say the least. Like you'd think Kris Bryant, out of all the teams he'd sign with, you'd think he'd sign with a contender, but no, the
You sure
Rockies.
think so?
And here's the thing. I mean, I don't know. Maybe Colorado's front office is like, "Ooh, let's get a guy that can hit some Colorado home runs."
Coors,
I don't know. I really don't
Coors,
know.
Coors. If your logic is Coors, that is the most Colorado thing ever. Even though the Colorado Rockies front office over the past couple years have been notoriously bad with handing out large contracts to out of position players that contribute negative WAR to the team. It is historically bad. It is absolutely awful. The Rockies, plain and simple, have no idea what they're doing. And the fact that they gave Kris Bryant this contract after how they treated Nolan Arenado only further supports that claim.
Right. I mean, you said the no trade clause was added onto that. That just makes it even crazier to me. So it's like, oh no, did we make a mistake trading Arenado? Let's make sure we don't do that again. Let's add this no trade clause. I just don't get it. And I
I don't
mean,
get it either.
chances are, like, I'd almost want to bet how many years will it be until that no trade clause is waived?
Yeah.
There's no way
it's
he's
so
playing all 7
confusing.
years.
It's so confusing, and we're going to move on from it because we have other free agent signings to cover. Meanwhile, Kris Bryant's former team, not the Giants, the Cubs, they made a splash in the international pool, signing Japanese outfielder Seiya Suzuki to a 5-year, $85 million deal. Now, Seiya Suzuki was the most coveted international prospect coming in that was major league ready. He was an absolute stud in the Nippon Baseball League. He tore it up, and there were a lot of teams that were in the mix, including the Boston Red Sox, but of course it didn't come to fruition. The Cubs gave him a pretty hefty contract. So we'll see. Now you got Seiya Suzuki wearing number 27 because he loves Mike Trout, a great role model and a great guy to look up to. I will say Mr. Suzuki manning the outfield at the friendly confines. And who knows, maybe it's a marquee player that the Cubs will, have for years and years and years. Who knows how it'll turn out?
Yeah, I really don't know yet. But first of all, yeah, super excited to see Suzuki finally making it to the MLB. I'm sure he'll make an impact instantly for the Cubs. He'll be their star player since, I mean, their entire core was traded away. He is the star now. But who knows, maybe he can be the guy leading the Cubs through their rebuild as they try to build a new, better baseball team. Can all be run through him.
This is the
So,
new,
I mean,
this is the
I
new
like the
Chicago
signing,
Cubs.
but yeah, we'll see how it works.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of question marks, but I'm intrigued. I'm interested to watch Seiya Suzuki play baseball. And who knows, maybe he'll end up being the cornerstone of the new era of Chicago Cub baseball. After that, the Philadelphia Phillies make a pair of splashes by signing first Kyle Schwarber to a 4-year, $79 million deal. And then the big one, Nick Castellanos, 5-year, $100 million deal. They got both of those. And now the Phillies lineup is looking so scary because you mentioned that the Dodgers are thinking they're lucky stars that the universal DH was instituted. So are the Phillies, because you don't need to do what the Red Sox did and, just put Kyle Schwarber at first base. Hey, can you play first base? Try playing first base. No, they don't have to do that. You can just say, hey, Kyle, DH for us. Just worry about hitting, do what you do best, and hit nukes. And then you got Nick Castellanos right behind him in the outfield, wherever they want to put him, or third base if they really want to do that, but they're not going to because they have Alec Boehm there. But that's neither here nor there. Now you have two really, really big bats, and that offense is looking scary. I think the one caveat to that is I saw a TikTok where it's like Aaron Nola is going to have like a 2.8 FIP and like a 5 ERA, isn't he? And that's going to be so true because I don't know what that defense is in the outfield for the Phillies. But then again, I'm not really sure they care because with those two guys, there's going to be offense abound at Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia.
Absolutely. I mean, you beat me to it mentioning Kyle Schwarber for DH. Once again, yeah, the Phillies are just as lucky to have the DH. Perfect spot for Kyle Schwarber. You really don't want him out in the field. But yeah, interesting point with what you were saying about the defense. I guess if they can combat it with good offense, I guess that's a win for them.
But that's I feel like that's nitpicking at that point. You don't sign Kyle Schwarber and Nick Castellanos for their defense.
Right. But I mean, hey.
Yeah, we're going to get him for the Gold Glove caliber defense. No. You get them because they're going to put together 70 bombs total.
Yeah, absolutely. And I definitely think they do that. And then, yeah, Bryce Harper gets a few more stars added to his team. And who knows, maybe the Phillies can make some noise in the NL East this year.
Yeah, the NL East is going to be highly competitive. We thought the AL East was going to be a good division. The NL East, that race is going to be one to watch out for because you have the Braves and the Mets, and now the Phillies are trying to enter the fray. But after that, we have one more free agent signing, which I'm not really even convinced happened. It happened at like 2 a.m. It's like a bad fever dream where Carlos Correa finally signs, the most coveted hitter left on the market. He signs a 3-year, $105 million contract with the Minnesota Twins. The Minnesota Twins make the splash of the offseason by getting Carlos Correa. First, let's break down that contract. The exact details. 3 years, $105.3 million. He has opt-outs after the first 2 seasons. So, I mean, it's a short-term deal. That works. I think it's a win-win for Minnesota because, you know, if it works out, you extend him after that. If it doesn't, you can deal him at the deadline. If whatever plan the Twins are forming together, whatever that may be, if that doesn't work out and you need to trade Correa, you can still get a huge haul for him. I think it's a smart signing in terms of like, you know, just the short-term aspect and, you know, the opt-outs and, you know, and whatever. And the $35.1 million a year edges out Anthony Rendon's $35 million a year as the most expensive contract by average annual value for a fielder in Major League history. That's the asterisk for a fielder because you guys got guys like, you know, Trevor Bauer, Max Scherzer, your very own Garrett Cole, who are making more AAV as pitchers. But Carlos Correa gets a huge payday. But hey, Minnesota native, what are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, so first of all, in the predictions, I said the Blue Jays. I wanted him to be a Yankee, but that's besides the point.
Yeah, we were way off.
I really just go back to what I said a few videos ago about the Twins and their trades. I think this goes back to me saying I think they're trying to prove that last year's down year was a fluke. And by signing Correa, maybe, just maybe they can make it work out for them. But then they added those opt-outs to say, hey, come July, if this plan completely failed, hey, we could just trade him away for some prospects. And I think that's smart on the Twins front office.
Yeah, I think that's some smart insurance, just in case you have a contingency plan ready for if it doesn't work.
Right. But yeah, oh my goodness.
Which by the way, is something that our two teams aren't very good at doing. We just kind of throw caution to the wind and we're just like, all right, we're just gonna go for it. You know, the Red Sox have gotten better. The Red Sox have gotten better at contingency plans. The Yankees are still absolutely terrible at contingency plans, but the reason this connects to Correa is because the opt-outs give the Twins a backup plan for if it doesn't work. And I think that's really, really smart on their part.
Yeah, no, that was great work by the front office to include that. Because, yeah, if the Twins are well below 500 in July, I could easily see him being traded to the Yankees, for example. It could
Oh,
happen.
now that's just
I'm
wishful.
sorry, I have to bring it up. But man, I was just as shocked as you when I saw he was signed by the Twins. And I also have to add, there was a lot of speculation saying, oh, forget it. He has Scott Boras as his agent. He's going to be making way more money than any fielder out there. But nope, didn't happen.
Well, he's still the highest paid fielder in baseball.
Yes, but
Just
people
not
thought it
nearly
would
by
be
that.
like
He
by
just
a
didn't
mile.
he just didn't get the $275 to $300 million mega deal that Scott Boras clients usually get. So
Right.
that's why it's a little bit intriguing. The short-term deal, it's like, okay, Carlos,
Yeah.
you're a
I mean,
douchebag, but you could go be a douchebag in the Twin Cities.
yeah, I guess. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe the idea is like he's still young, so let's let these 3 years play out and then we can get that mega deal going. I really don't know, but hey, good job, Twins. I got to give it to you. That is incredible work by the front office to make it work
They
out
made
for
it
you.
happen.
We'll see what happens.
Kudos to them. They made it happen. But those are some of the free agent signings that have happened. It's been a wild free agency period, and it has been a wild just month in sports in general. That's all we got for this episode of the Rivalry Out of State. If you want to see other episodes of the Rivalry Out of State, we got those playlist up around here. And go watch our other stuff on Running the Table. So if you want more, like and subscribe. And until next time, we out. Peace.